party has a supermajority.
I'm in the House, just to let you know.
The president is just...
Hello, everybody.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. President. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for opening the space.
Yeah, we got like 10,000 people in here. A lot of Bitcoiners, tons and tons of Bitcoiners listening to you right now. Pass this bill.
I just followed you.
Thanks for the follow. I just followed you back. We're friends now.
Thank you. So this bill is passing right now. It's in the assembly, as you all know. Of course, it's in debate, and they're saying a lot of things about it. But we have probably 64 out of 84 seats. So, and I think everybody will vote for it. But even if they don't, we all need 43 votes. So it's almost 100% chance that we're gonna see this bill passed in, I don't know, probably in half an hour or something like that.
Is it cool
and then
for
do
you
you have to sign it?
I was just gonna ask, is it chill for you to be on your phone while this is going down, or do you have something important to do in there?
Yeah, no. I took the time to do this since I saw Karim was speaking, and then I saw all these people getting into that conversation. I thought, well, why not? I think I can take 10 minutes, right?
He has to wait to sign it, actually, after voting. So he has to be awake.
I have to sign the bill, so I'm probably not gonna sleep that early, like every other day.
So you'll sign it tonight?
I'll sign it tonight or early tomorrow if the debate takes a while. But yeah, I'll sign it when they have to close the session after the vote, and they have to send it to my desk. And I have 8 days to sign it, but I sign it right away, so it gets published tomorrow, and it goes into effect immediately, since it's a public order law. So it goes into effect immediately. So it becomes law on Wednesday.
President, walk us through, once you sign this bill and it becomes law, what's the plan? Is it you go and you put Bitcoin in the reserves? Do you begin to implement other types of infrastructure or technology? Kind of what are you thinking right now in terms of what you'll do once it becomes law?
Okay, there's gonna be a lot of news, a lot of new information here. We have been working with, I think Jack's mom is here, right?
She is. Yeah, she's here, right here on stage, Brooke Mallers.
Yeah, so we have been working with Jack, and we're gonna do a government wallet, which is not gonna be the only wallet. It's not gonna be exclusive, since Bitcoin is not. I mean, it's free, and it has to be like that. That's the way it works. So we gotta keep it like that. We're not gonna try to control it or anything, since it would be, it will be a counter purpose. But we're gonna do a wallet for our merchants. So anybody can opt to use the government wallet, and that's for people that doesn't want to take the risk of everyday transactions, because accepting Bitcoin is going to be a mandate. So it's not like if you go to a McDonald's. I mean, probably most of you don't like McDonald's, but well, if you go to a McDonald's or whatever, they cannot say, we're not going to take your Bitcoin. They have to take it by law, because it's a legal tender, just like any other currency in any other part of the world. So for example, if you go to Mexico, they have to take your pesos. It's not like they will say, I'm not going to take your pesos. You have to pay me with dollars. They have to take the pesos, because that's the legal tender in Mexico. So in the case of El Salvador, Bitcoin is going to be legal tender just as the U.S. dollar. It's only not gonna apply for accounting. That's the only part where the U.S. dollar is gonna remain as the exclusive. It's on accounting. So the balance sheet, the company's balance sheets will be in U.S. dollars. But that's it. Everything, even taxes, can be paid with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin it's a legal tender, but as legal tender it's a mandate to accept it in every transaction, and you can pay bank loans, Even the law says the law is very short and very simple, but it's very clear. And even if you have a previous contract, if you for example, if you gave a loan to somebody and you loan $100,000 10 years ago, and he still owes you that money, he can pay you with Bitcoin, because as the law turns into effect and Bitcoin becomes legal tender 90 days after the law. Why 90 days? Because we have to prepare infrastructure and all the other things. But once the law is in effect, the timing is just for getting everybody prepared and with the technology and the apps, etc. But if you owe somebody $100,000, you can pay him in Bitcoin. So it's going to be a full mandate, and everybody, every restaurant, every barber shop, every hotel, every bank, every personal transaction, if you want to sell a car, everything can be paid in US dollars or in Bitcoin, and nobody can refuse the payment. Like other, for example, foreign currencies, you can accept it, but you're not obligated to accept it. You can do a transaction in euros, but you're not obligated to do that transaction in euros, because it's not a legal tender here. It's just a foreign currency. In the case of Bitcoin, it's going to be legal tender, and it's going to be treated like a national currency. So everybody has to accept it.
President Bukele, you'd also mentioned a permanent residency for entrepreneurs. And there's going to be quite an ecosystem that may build up around this, because you're going to need, obviously the wallet, the government wallet. You're going to need exchange support for people to be able to auto convert. There'll be investors and entrepreneurs coming. How are you thinking about incorporation or immigration law? Caitlin Long, who's actually here, did a pioneering bill for Wyoming that might be interesting to you. That actually Miami also copied. That might be helpful for you as you go forward. But I'd love to hear how you're thinking about immigration and incorporation law.
Yes, we're going to have some immigration reform. We actually have some laws to pass later that it will empower the use of the growth of this and the potential of this. Like Karim said, the limits of this are, we don't know what are the limits of this. We will find out with time, but we're ready to pass new legislation to help with things. For example, this law speaks about a trust fund that the government is going to put up in place, so it would assume the risk of the merchants. So let's say, I know I'm not answering the question directly. I'm going to answer in a minute. But what I'm trying to say is that, for example, if there's a ice cream parlor, and the owner of the ice cream parlor, he doesn't really want to take the risk. I mean, he has to accept Bitcoin because it's a mandate, it's a currency, but he doesn't want to take the risk of the convertibility. He might win money, he might lose. So he wants dollars deposited in his banking account. So when he sells the ice cream, he can ask the government to exchange his Bitcoin to dollars. Of course, he can do that in the markets also, but the government would have a fund to do it immediately. So it's not that volatile, because the government is going to take the risk of the minutes or half an hour that it's going to take for him to do his transaction. So we're going to put up a trust fund to do that, and we're willing to risk some money that we might earn some or we might lose some, but that's going to be done to help people with the risk, and that's a separate law that's going to go to be approved in the assembly later. But it's just new laws that are going to promote, and they're going to facilitate the usage of Bitcoin in El Salvador and exploit its potential. So, for example, with immigration, we're designing this new law that gives permanent residency to anybody that invests 3 Bitcoins in El Salvador. So if you buy a house or a car or two cars or whatever, but you have to invest, or you put some offices and you buy some computers or some office furniture, or you have to invest 3 Bitcoins. So once you give proof of investing the 3 Bitcoins, you would get, or that you will invest the 3 Bitcoins, you will get permanent residence. So it's going to be expressed in Bitcoins and not in US dollars, because we want to make the people used to like some people like to say 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. So we want people to get familiarized to using Bitcoins as a unit alone, and not all the time being thought of the convertibility to the US dollar, because that's not good for Bitcoin as a currency. It's like when Europeans go to a place and buy a car with euros, they don't convert the euros to dollars to buy the car. They just buy the car to the amount of what's expressed in the price of the car in the car dealership. So we want to do that, and we want to promote people coming here, innovators, investors, entrepreneurs, Bitcoiners. They want to buy a vacation house or go and live by the beach or whatever, and we want to promote all this, and so we're going to pass some legislation for immigration reform, and we're going to pass some legislation for the trust fund, and some other legislation for access to the internet. We're going to build a better infrastructure so people have more access. It's one of the articles of this new law says that the government has to provide and facilitate and promote the connectivity of the people and the technology, which is of course an app and a phone and an internet connection. So there's going to be new legislation coming soon that is not a necessity of this law, but it would definitely promote and widen the opportunities and the potential of this thing that it's happening here, and that it's probably going to be replicated in other countries as well.
That's really interesting. I use Eunice. There's like jus sanguinis, which is citizenship by blood, and then jus solis, which is by law, and then jus ionis, which is by investment. And so 3BTC investment basically gets you citizenship. That's really interesting. Other countries have done things like that, but not denominated, obviously, in cryptocurrency. I think related to that, maybe, I'm not sure if this is on your radar yet, but anything you can do on incorporation of the companies in terms of infrastructure, because that might be a third piece. As I mentioned, Caitlin is here, and she's done a lot of pioneering work on this. Might be an interesting person to speak to. Francis Suarez has adopted some of that, because you could become a sanctuary country for crypto. I think a lot of entrepreneurs, Bitcoin entrepreneurs, everybody would come there, and because the banking system would be friendly, everything would be friendly, so just something to think about. That's the third piece potentially, is your incorporation law.
President, earlier somebody asked if the United States or the IMF had reached out, and you said yes. Could you tell us a little bit more about what those conversations were like?
Uh-oh. Yeah. No. Actually, I have a meeting with the IMF on Thursday, and we're going to speak about several issues, one of them being this law. I already, I mean, in the messaging that we set up the meeting, I already tried to explain them that this doesn't, I mean, it's a huge change for the country, and it's a huge opportunity, and it's a big message for the world. But it's not going to change our macroeconomics. I mean, it's an opportunity for our merchants, for our businesses, for the people. It's an opportunity for the people that receives remittances. It's an opportunity for the people in the tourism sector. This is gonna promote economic development, the creation of jobs. It probably is gonna lower, or as Jack said, it's gonna take to zero the commission that a lot of people is paying. Some people are paying 30% commission in the remittances. So they get $100 and they only get paid 70. So this is an opportunity for the growth of the economy of the country and of the people. So this shouldn't be of concern, but it should be supported, I think. And I try not to be pessimistic about what the international financial sector would think of it. I try to be positive because this is going to be good for the country, good for the people, good for investors, good for innovators, and it's going to solve a lot of problems in the U.S. too. Because the U.S. has a big problem at the border because a lot of people immigrate from Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador. So if we create more opportunities here, that will lower the pressure in the border. So, I mean, they should be happy about this. So I think it's more, we have to do a lot of explaining and we have to campaign this. But I'm sure it's going to be good for everybody, and we count on you. I mean, we're almost 16,000 people are connected to this chat room right now. So, and there's a lot of influential people here. So I think it's going to be, there's going to be a lot of support for what we're doing here. Of course, there's going to be people that oppose it. It's normal. We live in a free society, so people can oppose something and they're free to oppose it. But there's going to be a lot of support, not only political support, but also influencers and people in the, for example, this was, I don't know if he's here, but there was a very nice article in Forbes, and it spoke very well about the project and about what we're doing here in El Salvador. And I mean, we didn't get that kind of press before, so I think there's a lot of support that is going to be built in this network that is new, and that it's gonna allure a lot of innovators and a lot of talent that is coming. Because I mean, we're not only talking about money. We're talking about technology. We're talking about talent. We're talking about fresh new ideas, and all of this is coming here. It has been already here, and it's coming more and more by the day. So this new technologies, new ways of promoting access to financing, access to technology for the people. This has to be good for the United States, and it has to be good for the worldwide financial sector. It's probably not good for some people that have some different interests, but for the good of humanity and for the good of in this moment our country, that's gonna be. I mean, everybody has to support it, or they should at least. So I think we're going to do a lot of campaigning and a lot of explaining, but I think at the end he's gonna get a very good result.
President Bukele, I mean, do you consider this to be the beginning of de-dollarization? Is this sort of what you have in mind long term?
No. We in 2001, when the country was dollarized, the argument was that our currency was too volatile and that we have to attract investors, and we have to be to use the U.S. dollar as a currency because that would attract investors, and we probably did.
Just to let you know, he was a
extent.
minor when that happened.
I know. I was a minor too. So now with this, we're doing that on the steroids, because now we have social media that we didn't have in 2001. So now we could be speaking at this room, which was totally improvised, and now everybody is listening to this, and it's different. So I think that the objectives of having the U.S. dollar as a legal tender are probably replicated on the steroids as having Bitcoin as a legal tender. So we're not trying to de-dollarize because it won't serve any purpose for us, but we're trying to do to allure entrepreneurs and talent and and innovators to our country, and that's going to be good. And I don't think having the dollar as legal tender does any harm to it. On the contrary, I think it's going to help having both currencies as legal tenders in El Salvador.
Mr. President, this is Mike Peterson from Bitcoin Beach, and I just want to thank you so much for everything you've done. I knew deep down you were a Bitcoiner. I knew you were going to come through here, and everybody on our team.
Well, you're the pioneers, actually.
Everybody on our
and you demonstrated. Sorry to interrupt, but I want to say something good about you guys. You guys demonstrated that this is not something for rich people only. I mean, this is for everybody. And you guys demonstrated that a community can actually benefit from Bitcoin. And now we're going to demonstrate it in a country wide scale. But of course, you're the pioneers here, and hats off to you guys, because you have demonstrated you had the courage to be the first here in El Salvador, which is, and you have done great. And actually, you have provided with us with arguments and with pictures and with stories and with everything that we need to have this bill passed so fast.
Well, I hope so much that you'll grace us with your presence with the team. There's an amazing team of locals in El Zante that are really the ones who have done all the work, and so I know it means so much to them if you'd come and spend a little time with them. So I really hope you'll be able to come and spend some time in Bitcoin Beach with us.
I will.
President, you've got a lot of people in here from the
I
Bitcoin
love
community.
to go to Bitcoin.
Could you tell us a little bit about your story with Bitcoin, whether you hold Bitcoin today, and kind of how you became so interested in it?
So,
Did we finally break?
Did we lose him?
We might have broken Twitter Spaces.
No, he's still
Nope.
there. I would like to ask a question.
President?
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
excellent.
here. Sorry. Yeah, I thought. Yeah, I pressed the wrong button. So
okay, boomer.
Yeah, I'm not a boomer. So, I'm like Yusuf said in a I think I don't know if it was the same chat or but I read about it, that we're big believers in the future. And I remember when I was a kid, that I'm probably a little older than some of you guys and a little younger than others. And when I was a kid, I remember thinking about the future, and you would see like flying cars and these beautiful buildings with people having no problems, and everything was solved because of technology and everything, and the world was interconnected like it is right now, but everything was fine. There were no wars, and there was no hunger, nothing, no diseases. But now, if you talk to young people, and I'm talking about 15-year-olds or even 20-year-olds, and you ask them about the future, they won't talk to you about flying cars or shiny buildings and no hunger. They will talk to you about nuclear war. They will talk about pests, about climate catastrophes, when did our vision of the future change from something beautiful to something so dystopic? But at the same time, we have to remember that we build our own future. The future is not imposed on us. I mean, we build it. We human beings, we build our future. So why do we have to resignate ourselves to have a dystopic future if we can build the future that we dreamt at least when I was a kid, and probably some of you were too? And so I think Bitcoin, as being the main cryptocurrency in the world, solves a lot of problems. No oversupply. It's not in the hands. There's a lot of inequality that comes from the central banking system, because they pour new money in, but they choose where that new money goes to. But everybody pays the price of having their money being less of the quantity of the total amount of money. So Bitcoin, it's technology, it's the future. It solves a lot of things. It's very well thought of, and it's being supported by a lot of people that want to see a better world and a better future, and a lot of innovators and a lot of talent. So we want to support that too. And we're not. We don't. I mean, I could support it by being a Bitcoiner and put laser eyes in the picture. But we want not only to support it, but we want also to demonstrate that that the world can benefit from it. And I think El Salvador is not only a country anymore. It's a symbol of what Bitcoin can do. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of pouring in of new technology in a country that basically, we had very good plans 6 months ago, but isn't not even near what the plans that we have now. So if we can change our future, and it probably we will start seeing other countries follow. So we're going to see a lot of futures, a lot of countries' future changing, and that's going to help build a better society. So I think, of course, it's not like Bitcoin is going to solve everything, but I think this is one of the things that we all have to get behind on, because we have to build the future for humanity, and we don't have to accept the new probably the not so good future that the world is going on, and we can change it. So for me, Bitcoin is a very important part of it, and I'm sure this is going to be a great example. So it's not that I'm a Bitcoin holder. It's that I do think that this is going to be a huge game changer, not for El Salvador, but for the world. And probably right now, a lot of people might laugh or say, "Oh, that's a very small country," and it is. It's the smallest country in the whole continent. But it doesn't matter. It's happening, and it's going to change a lot of things, and it's going to start here, and it's beautiful to be part of a huge change in humanity. So I don't want to be corny, but that's the reality. We're dreaming here about what's going to happen, and we're happy.
Mr. President,
Don't be too corny, because Jack Dorsey is listening, so he can block you from Twitter. So be careful.
Jack,
Mr. President?
you got to get up here, man. Join us on stage. I sent you an invite.
Mr. President, will people have the freedom to use whatever wallet they want, or will they have to use the government wallet? A lot of people are asking me that.
No. It's any wallet. You can use any wallet that you want. There's not going to be any. The law. It's up there. It's short. Like I said, I added tweet, but it's short and simple. So it's very simple. It's there. There's going to be a government option. As a wallet that is going to be developed by Strike, but that's going to be an option. You can use any wallet, and you can use any system, and you can. We're not going to. It's going to be as free as it gets.
Not limit every single human being to a wallet, right?
Yeah, and the other thing is that all the new technologies that are gonna develop. They're gonna even Jack spoke about what the work that he's gonna do here. It's gonna be available for all of the other countries. So it's not only that it's fully free, but what we do with Jack is gonna be. It's going to be free also, so everybody can. There's not going to be any restriction on the use of Bitcoin, other than it's for legal things, right? Because a lot of people is talking about, with Bitcoin they're going to do money laundering and they're going to buy weapons or whatever, and I'm saying weapons are bought in U.S. dollars right now. It's not like. Money laundering is done in U.S. dollars. The drug cartels. They use U.S. dollars, and the problem is not the dollar; is the criminals. So it's like saying Bitcoin it facilitates transactions for doing bad things. What about cash? Or what about jewelry or diamonds or any other sort of payment? What about euros or yens or whatever? I mean, it's not. This is going to be as free as it gets, but that's not going to mean we're inviting criminals. It just means that it's going to be free. But being free is not a synonym of a bad thing. I don't know who changed that. That definition, because it's supposed to be something good. So it's gonna be as free as it gets, and so you can use any wallet. There's gonna be a governmental wallet, but that we're gonna develop with Strike. But there's gonna be one other option, like all of the other options that are out there, and it's gonna be probably the smallest option, because only Salvadorans are probably gonna be interested in downloading that one. But it's not a for us. It's not the main thing is not the wallet. The main thing is the usage of Bitcoin in the country as a legal tender. That's the big thing. The other thing is part of the infrastructure and technology that we're trying to develop to help a lot of people that otherwise they wouldn't be able to access the technology or the apps or the things, because they can use it. So we will help them with the technology, with connectivity, like they did in Bitcoin Beach. So we'll try to replicate that in a wider scale with people that sell in the streets and people that sell in the market. So you can be selling fish in the market, and you're probably not even in any financial sector right now. So you probably need some government help and some people that come and give you a phone and an app and a connectivity plan for free to help you join and benefit from this. But of course, if you have your own phone and you have your own apps, I mean, you don't have to download the government one. It's just, this is like trying to get financial inclusion will require some government investment. So we'll try to do that investment. But that's not a requirement for everybody. It's just something the government will do proactively to go and benefit the people that are probably not going to benefit automatically because they don't have a smartphone or they don't have a stable internet connection.
Mr. President,
Virginia.
will you also be strengthening the property laws of El Salvador to recognize Bitcoin and to recognize outright property rights? Thank you.
Okay, so that's going to be, it's actually quite simpler than that. It's not that we're going to exchange with the Federal Reserve. I mean, our central bank is a very robust central bank, I mean, for the country, of course, that has business with the Federal Reserve by the day. We actually import our dollars our paper dollars newly printed, newly minted. They come here, I mean, they are printed for us. So we actually have a very good relationship with the Fed. But this is way simpler than that. The convertibility is not with the Fed or with the central bank. It's with the trust fund that we're going to do the government here also owns some banks. We have the central bank, of course, but we also have first floor banks, and we have a development bank that's owned by the government. So in our development bank, we're going to establish a trust fund. So we buy the Bitcoin of the transactions that are done by people that doesn't want to take the risk. For example, if you have a lady that sells fruit in the marketplace, and she doesn't want to, she doesn't understand that much, and she doesn't want to risk her savings, or she doesn't want to take the risk implied in using Bitcoin. So, but she's mandated, if she has the technology, of course, that will provide if she doesn't have it. She's mandated to accept Bitcoin to sell her fruit. So what we're going to do is that if she's using the wallet, she can opt out and say, okay, I'm taking this Bitcoin, but I want this money deposited in US dollars. So we are gonna buy her Bitcoin, and we at the price that she valued her fruit. So not at the price of the market. So if she sells $5 in fruit and the Bitcoin price that she sold it at was X amount, but that amount changes when she deposits the money in her bank, then we are gonna absorb that risk by buying her Bitcoin at her fixed price of the fruit. So that trust fund is going to guarantee that the people that don't want to take the risk, they don't have to take the risk. They have to take the Bitcoin, but not the risk. So they will translate that risk to the government, not to the trust fund of the bank of the government. Now, this risk might turn into a profit for the government, or it might turn into a loss for the government. So the trust fund is going to be supported by some losses and some gains. And at the end, we might lose some money out of the trust fund, or we might earn some money out of the trust fund. But it doesn't matter, because the purpose of the trust fund is not to make money; is to support this decision of having Bitcoin as a legal tender, and that it runs for years and years with no problems, because we have this trust fund that allows us to absorb the risk of the small merchants that don't want to take the risk. So it's actually very simple, and it doesn't involve the Federal Reserve, or even our central bank. It's just a trust fund in our development.
Have you heard the term market maker, Mr. President? Because if not, or maybe you have, but some of those guys might be able to help with this, because it sounds very similar to people who do market making, or basically are both on the buy and the sell side to provide liquidity.
Yeah, I'm not that well versed in that.
Mr. President, are you planning on doing mining? Is the government going to mine Bitcoin or encourage the mining of Bitcoin in El Salvador?
Never thought of it, but like Karim said, I mean, every day is going to be new ideas. So we're not thinking of mining, but we can do something to promote mining, of course. And we have some, right now, thinking of it. I mean, I haven't thought of it, but right now, thinking of it, we have a plan. This is nothing to do, well, it had nothing to do with Bitcoin, but we had a plan because we have geothermal energy here, energy that you get from volcanoes. So we actually have plants that get clean 100%. It's not only 100% renewable, but it's also 100% clean, because the energy of the volcanoes turn the water into water vapor, and that makes energy. So we produce that energy since 50 years ago. But right now, we were looking at that we lose a lot of energy by transporting the energy of the geothermal plants to the cities. So we want to promote this on the outskirts of the plants. We want to promote this industrial parks where you can set up your factory and you will receive cheap, clean, 100% clean, 100% renewable, zero CO2, 0% CO2 emissions, and we wanted to do that not because of Bitcoin, but because of people that want to invest in factories that won't have any carbon footprint. But now that you're talking about mining, probably somebody wants to set up a mining facility with zero emissions and with geothermal energy, that it's not only cheap because it's right there in the front of them, so they don't pay. We don't have to transport the energy to another place. It's right there, and it's very, very cheap for us. So probably somebody wants to set up a mining facility with cheap, clean, renewable energy. But it's just a thought. I just thought about it right now. I haven't thought about mining or other things. But like Karim said, it's every day that passes, new ideas will come up, and this is the limit.
No, it's remarkable. And look, any stranded, energy resource you have, whether it be hydro, volcanic, geothermal, I mean, these are things to think about. So thank you.
President, one of the strengths of the Bitcoin kind of ecosystem is the community and how you can crowdsource ideas like this or ask for help. Are there specific things that people in the community can do right now to help you or the country of El Salvador as you kind of move to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender or look to kind of upgrade the financial infrastructure of the country?
Well, I don't know. Probably there's a lot more things to do. I think that we should. This is just a thought, but I think we should support this move because a lot of people are probably going to attack it just because they oppose it or because they don't like it or because they promote other ideas, which are fine. But I think we should support this as I mean, anybody can support it by their own means. They can give their opinion. They can write an article. Whatever. So I think we should support this. So this takes a strong hold, and it's not like just an idea or just a bill that was passed by Congress in a country, but it's a thing that it's strong and it's proving that it carries benefits for the common folk. And if that happens, you would see dozens of countries doing the same thing. And then it would evolve in something even more, because then you're not talking about one legal tender, or two legal tenders, or three legal tenders, but you're talking about a currency that is being widely used by a lot of countries. So that will have financial implications. I'm not an economist, but I would guess there are a lot of economists here, and they can explain better the financial implications of what would that mean. But I think I'm gonna try and focus on having this project succeed, so we can have a strong system working here, and that would be probably it would create a domino effect, and that would probably turn into what you're saying. But I think we should have this more strongly functioning, so then you can take other steps.
Mr. President, many of us Bitcoiners in this room, including the Americans, are worried about the prospects for high inflation over the next decade or so. Does this motivate your decision at all, the prospects for inflation in the US dollar?
Itself, the decision was taken because we were basically inspired by the project of Bitcoin Beach and by the work that Jack has been doing here and all of the people.
I think we might have lost you at the end there.
We lose him, or
Did we lose him?
I lose you all?
What's the status of the bill, by the way? I guess debate is still ongoing.
Yeah, the opposition is still debating. It's like a filibuster, but without the ability to filibuster for days or for hours.
What's the opposition? Is it the bankers, Kareem?
Who?
Is it the bankers that are opposing it?
Well, maybe they are. No, I don't know. I'm not saying the bankers. I'm just the political opposition in Congress. Maybe some people that are financing them are opposed to, but yeah, I cannot pinpoint anyone specifically. But the political opposition in Congress.
He's in a listener mode right now. I don't know if we can put him back in as speaker.
Who? Oh.
Yeah, we've lost the president.
Yeah, maybe he received a phone call or something. because they're discussing something. Maybe I don't know.
He's got work to do. Can't expect him to be on Twitter all day.
But he's here. Can you pull him up, Nick?
I'm looking. I'm assessing.
Come on, Nick. There's 20,000 people waiting. Let's go.
22,000.
Twitter Spaces is a little challenging, friends.
He's certainly getting a good test tonight.
Speak amongst yourselves.
Nick,
Well,
what's
just getting exciting there.
Well, he
Nick-
was praising you again, so it's wonderful to hear the truth about who really accomplished this. So no one can take it away from you. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. Like I said, it was an amazing team there in El Salvador. I mean, really, honestly, I'm not being humble. Like, they're the ones that did the work, and I hope all of you are able to make it down to El Zonte and meet Jorge Valenzuela and the rest of the crew there who have, like, tirelessly pushed this through when people were, like, laughing, like, what do you mean, some magic internet money, and you want us to accept it? And they like, made this happen.
Oh, and Michael, we're going to have the World Surfing Games in 2023, so maybe they're all invited.
Perfect. Awesome.
Hey, Michael, it's Brooke, Jack's mom.
Hey, Brooke.
I wish I could give you a big hug over this thing. You started it all, and I love you, and I'm so glad you started tweeting at me about what you were doing there and how that whole thing spread. And we're already looking at maybe like buying property down there. We'll see.
Awesome. That'd be so great to have you guys as neighbors. And I love you too. You would always retweet my tweets. And even when I only had 100 Twitter followers, you would get them out there, and you've been so supportive. And then having your son come down and bring the technology and all this great, fill in all the gaps and then like blow this out of the water with this latest thing. I mean, it's just been awesome.
It's amazing how it developed. I can't even believe it. I was like, no one would ever think it would go this far. Unreal. So congratulations.
Is the president here now? Because he's telling me that he requested to be speaker.
My bad, y'all. Can't leave the president hanging. I don't see him. I don't see his request, though. Oh, no. Twitter Spaces is letting us down.
Yeah, it's Elizabeth Stark said that she wanted to get in here and Twitter Spaces wasn't working for her.
Man, you got to come through. Jack, you got to come through, bro.
I think we lost him. He doesn't appear here.
See this. His own app is betraying him. I'm not even seeing the president in the list of folks in the room anymore.
Maybe he left to come back and maybe to like restart or something.
Oh,
I see. He just popped in again.
We're live. El Presidente is back. Welcome back, sir.
El President.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, we can. Can I ask you? Can we?
I was just using the phrase of, I think it's an old ad. You're too young to remember that.
Which one?
What?
Can you hear me?
Oh
now?
yes. This is news for all of you. The president is getting old. He's turning 40.
I'm sorry. I thought it was a joke, but nobody laughed.
He's turning 40 in 2 months. So yeah, he's not as
60,
young as he used to be.
21,000 people and nobody laughed at my joke. Yeah, that's. I should be. I'm getting older, I think.
What's the status of the bill? How are we looking?
Well, right now the opposition is talking again, but the last guy that was talking just finished. Now the another guy is talking, so we have to wait for him for 5 minutes or so, I guess, and then it continues and continues and continues until they vote. And the vote takes around maybe 2 to 3 to 5 minutes, and that will be it.
So, Mr. President, you've probably seen that all these other policymakers from your neck of the woods, from Latin America, have also embarked on their own little campaigns to sort of embrace Bitcoin. I mean, a lot of this seems like you're doing. I mean, how does this make you feel?
I don't know yet. It's like we're trying to live the moment and try to do the best that we can so this succeeds. And I know this, we're doing the right thing. I mean, it's not, I mean, there's so much talented, smart people behind us and doing this and supporting this and fighting for this. And I'm sure it's gonna be great for everybody. I mean, it's the definition of when you do things and when you do things the right way, it has to provide a good result at the end. I think it's impossible that we will not have something good come out of this, because there's so much talent, so much effort, so much people that are working with it, behind it, supporting it, pushing it. I just don't see how this is going to turn the wrong way. So I'm just trying to live by the day and trying to see where this takes us, but I'm sure it's going to be something good for everybody.
You know, you have some of the most important Bitcoiners in the world on the stage right now. Not to sound too self-congratulatory, is this what you expected?
Nick, you're now the boss of everybody.
Thank you. That's a presidential decree. I'm putting that in my Twitter bio. But so, you know, like, how does it feel to get this warm reaction from the Bitcoin community? Is that what you expected?
Well, like I told you, we're just living by the day. I mean, I was not supposed to join the chat room. I just, everybody was tweeting about it. And I said, like, well, I should listen to this. And then everybody's saying, like, hey, the president is listening. He should speak. And then I took a while to speak in here. And then suddenly it became from 6,000 when I joined to 20,000 or I don't know, almost 22,000. And so I don't know, this is just happening. But I mean, there's a lot of things I know, but there's a lot of things I don't know. And one of the things I don't know is the limits of what this is going to become. I know that it's going to be good. I know that it's going to be great. I know that it's going to be very, very important for a lot of people. But I don't really know the limits of this. It's just things are just happening. And we're learning by the minute, and we're seeing things happen by the minute. And right now, the assembly is discussing the bill. The bill is going to pass. I mean, it's almost 100% chance that it's going to pass. So, and while this is happening in the assembly, we're just talking here, and a lot of people got interested in our talk, and you know, this is just happening by the minute. I really don't know what that means, or what's the limit. What are the limits of this? But I know
probably nobody know. Everyone has a theory, but nobody in this room knows what's going to happen.
Are you colleagues in the chamber? Are they wondering like what you're up to right now? They're like, what's he doing on his phone? Are they tuning in as well?
I don't see any deputies.
There's some mayors and some
the mayor of the capital is here.
Yeah, the mayor of San Salvador is here right now.
In this room?
Yeah, he's here. Yeah, I'm seeing his picture here, and also our ambassador to the United States is here. But I don't see much government officials. Let me see. Well, also our representative to the Central American Bank, which is a very important bank for us, is here. I'm seeing his picture, Luis Rodriguez.
He's actually a supporter of this bill, so that's good.
And he's a banker, and he's a representative of the Central American Bank, so that's important.
Mr. President, as you kind of rattle off a bunch of the politicians that are here, and Kareem, maybe you can chime in on this as well, how much effort did you guys go through before the video over the weekend at the Bitcoin conference in terms of building consensus among other politicians and people in the Congress and maybe various jurisdictions within the country versus this was something that you guys felt was the right decision and you kind of unilaterally proposed this, understanding that you had kind of the votes in Congress?
Well, the good thing about El Salvador is that in politics, the opinion of the people is pretty homogeneous. People are supporting. I mean, right now the president has 90% approval rating, and the latest Gallup poll, which is an international poll. It's not like in North Korea where the president there has like 125% approval rating, right, or something. So that's pretty good. I mean, people really want change here, and they have been defrauded so many times that people are starting to see new stuff as the way to go forward. So it was not hard to get people on board, at least the majority. And we're not talking about a small majority or just the majority. It is a big majority who support this.
Got it. And then I apologize for asking again, but people will not stop incessantly DMing me this question. They continue to ask Mr. President what the plan is in terms of holding Bitcoin on the balance sheet. It would make you one of the first countries, if not the first country, to do it. But any plans there that you could speak to?
We're going to hold probably $150 million in the trust fund, but it's not going to be a reserve. It's going to be a trust fund, and it's not going to be in the central bank, but in our development bank. But I think that's a huge step, and things are going to evolve, probably not only in El Salvador but in the world. So our plans right now is to hold at least $150 million in our trust fund, and I know that's not a huge sum, but for us it's quite considerable, and it's going to be in our development bank. So for the plans as of right now, it's that. But probably in the future, I don't know. This is evolving very fast. So we're not ruling out having Bitcoin in our reserves in the near future. But we're not. This law doesn't include buying, holding Bitcoin in their reserves.
And it's $150 million equivalent in Bitcoin, or $150 million? Dollars. So it's not holding Bitcoin in the development bank's trust fund, or it is holding Bitcoin.
No,
it's not. Okay.
No, it's dollars. We're gonna buy the $150 million out of the transactions of common folks. So we're gonna fill the trust fund coffers with Bitcoin, but we're gonna buy them with dollars. So at the end, we're gonna hold at least $150 million equivalent of Bitcoin, but that hasn't been bought yet because it's gonna be bought in the small transactions of 0.00001 Bitcoins. So at the end, we're gonna hold an equivalent. We're gonna hold $150 million equivalent in Bitcoin, but right now we're not holding any Bitcoin. So the trust fund is gonna buy the transactions, and it's gonna be filled with Bitcoin. But that Bitcoin is gonna come from common folks that are opting out of the deposits in Bitcoin, and it's interchanging those Bitcoins in US dollars. So we're gonna provide those US dollars, and we're gonna get the Bitcoin in exchange. So at the end, not at the end, but in a couple of months, the development bank will hold approximately $150 million equivalent in Bitcoin.
And then will you fund it with more dollars at that point, or have you thought about once you get $150 million worth of Bitcoin in the development bank, what happens then? Who funds the conversion of dollars to Bitcoin?
No, that's not the total. That's like how do you say in English? It's like
the starter
approximation. It's like like a proximity, like a calculation of how much Bitcoin will be held in the trust fund, since the trust fund needs to have fresh US dollars to continue exchanging.
Right.
But I don't see the trust fund getting empty, because we'll have a lot of the bank is a very solid big bank, and we are being supported by the country's sovereign ability to get new money. So it's not, and we still the Bitcoin will always have value. So we're not looking at this fund to be empty in any time. It's just going to be handled by experts in trust funds that are just going to be converting these transactions into Bitcoin. But we're not. I mean, we're not giving away free money. We're just exchanging at market value at the times of the transactions. So we're not. I mean, it's just. I just made an approximation of what we think we're going to hold in Bitcoin. It's going to be like net $150 million equivalent of Bitcoin at market value right now, but that's going to probably change.
Right. So it's effectively a clearinghouse. And so over time, the trust fund will probably sell down some of the Bitcoin in order to get more dollars to replenish that pool.
Yes, exactly.
Got it.
Exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
but exactly. But it's probable, like the bankers have told me that most likely they will hold the equivalent right now at market value of $150 million in Bitcoin.
Right.
Because that's like the sum they will have in a stock. So they're going to be selling and buying, but they will have like not fixed, but like the same amount of stock in Bitcoin, which is not required by law, but it's like the amount they will have just to manage the fund correctly, so it doesn't fall, or so it's stable. They calculate they will have like $150 million in equivalent right now,
Mr. President.
of market value. The equivalent, the market value right now equivalent in Bitcoin.
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. President. They're about 5 minutes away for voting. To vote.
Okay, guys.
Bill. 5 minutes
So
away.
thank you for
the last congressman speaker.
I'm just one of the 22,600 people here, so I'm leaving. But I hope we answer some of the questions, and I hope I'm going to tweet a good news in a couple of minutes.
Yes, thank you. You did.
Thank you,
Best
Mr. President.
But I have to look at the vote. It's very important to look at the vote.
Yes.
Thanks, Mr. President. You got business to do. You can run. That's okay.
I'll
Thank
tell
you
you
so
the votes.
much.
How are they coming?
You're welcome
you,
back
guys.
anytime.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Thank you, Nick. You're the boss.
My pleasure. Well, thank you for saying that.
Nick, I like how you released him like he was going to recess or
Yeah,
something.
it's like, this was cool, huh? This was
Holy
cool.
shit, you guys.
Hope the bill passes.
It'll pass for sure.
They're voting right now. 65 votes, 66, 68.
Oh, excellent.
72.
It passed.
No. This is just the first vote. They're calling everyone to vote. This is how it works here. So I'm just.
Thank you.
Kareem, are you going to stick around, or do you got important business to do?
I mean, I told you I'm in Congress right now. The president is in the presidential house, which is like the White House or something.
Oh, y'all are in different places. I see. Are your AirPods going to die, or are they still good?
I just connected my cell phone to my iPhone to the charger.
This is
Because
probably,
I only have 2%. Yeah, 3% now.
we almost lost you.
Kareem, could you give us
60
votes,
60 votes. So it's already 9 votes against, 60 votes in favor, and 10 votes against, 61 votes in favor, 12 votes against, 13 votes against, 14 votes against, 15 votes against, or nay, or whatever you call it. So the bill passes with supermajority. Congratulations to you all.
All right.
To you, back.
Huge.
Fantastic.
Amazing.
Well done.
Huge.
We only needed 43 votes, but it passed with a supermajority, which is good because, I mean, it's representative of the whole nation. The whole nation is behind this. So it's good. I wanted to see this.
Yeah, it's a mandate. It's a mandate.
It is a mandate. So I'll probably show you, well, I cannot show you, but I can direct you. Let me see.
Before your
Boy,
phone
MySpace
dies,
Tom is in here.
Oh, no, I
are you
already
going
connected,
to
don't worry.
celebrate?
There you go.
Are you gonna celebrate tonight? Get a drink, smoke a cigar. What's the plan after the successful
Yeah, I mean,
pass?
not a big party because we still have like some COVID restrictions. but yeah, I'm pretty much going to celebrate watching some Netflix maybe
What are you
by
gonna
myself.
watch? What are you gonna
I
watch?
don't know. Maybe you can recommend something.
Watch a nature documentary. That's what I watch when I want to chill out. They got some
Okay.
good ones.
Watch the
Yeah.
rise and rise of Bitcoin.
Wait, they're voting right now. Let me see. "17 against." I'll tell you the number, the specific number of the voting. Remember that we only need 43 votes out of 84. This is the second round of voting right now. And the last round. Don't worry, so.
One,
Nick, how do we top this?
yeah, I was just thinking about
This is
that. This
toppable.
is probably the best one for Twitter Spaces ever too. I think it's probably outclasses any Clubhouse chat that ever happened in terms of
Yeah.
importance, liveness, clout of people in the chat, maybe even listeners. I mean, this
You know
might
what's
go.
interesting?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Nick, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, have there even been clubhouses with 20,000 listeners? Is that even within their like technical limits? I think Twitter Spaces might be blowing them out of the water right now.
Nick, I'm sorry to say, but this is not
They're applauding right now at the
Princeton.
floor. They're applauding right now at the floor.
Woohoo!
I don't know if you can listen.
Yeah, we can hear that.
Can you listen?
I'm clapping too.
Yep. So again, congratulations to everyone.
Congrats to y'all, man.
Back at you.
Congrats to y'all.
So amazing.
And
This
Bit
is-
Beach. And Jack.
You guys are
And
the
Michael.
first non-pariah nation
Michael and Jack.
to accept Bitcoin.
We need to get Miles Suter up here. Is he in the room? He's had amazing part in this project too. We need Miles up here.
Yeah, Miles is a king. He's at Square. Miles, if you're in here, hit that application button.